Discount Podcast.
Welcome in, you cheap beggars, to Discount, the bargain bin gaming podcast, hosted by three hosts so small we are just minnows in this pond called life.
Oh, how sad.
That's a Josh. Just been caught by Arthur Morgan here. And plugging into player 2.
Displaying the latest in fish AI, because I swim away from people when they swim near me. Like, that's fucking special. I'm Darren, hello. And in a plastic bag at a fairground, watching her life slowly drain away.
I'm a little yellow fish in the deep blue sea. Won't somebody help me? It's Garrett.
It is Karis, yes. And we are Discount, the fighty episode of Fight. It's been a long old day.
I wasn't saying the second round of fighty, to be honest. I thought the fighty podcast, and then it just kept going, didn't it?
It really did. Much like many of our episodes, it just
keeps going.
But we are here for a fight episode where we'll be fighting over the best budget video game that we have bought for each other. And it will be on the topic of something quite special, something that I've been very excited for. And if you've read the title, you know already.
Yeah, hopefully you know.
Yeah, but it's how's everyone doing before we get into a big fight? Are we all feeling good?
Good, yeah. It's warm.
Yeah, it's warm, it's polleny.
Oh, the pollen. Oh, the pollen.
It's a pollen.
Oh my god, I'm so unwell. My eyes
Perfect,
are itching. My everything is itching. It's
It may not be pollen.
No.
That Jim's terrible. Anyway,
What a guy.
But yeah, we will look at this episode after we looked at last episode. Good God, Josh, where are my brains?
we look at
I love this, guys.
Guys,
going so well.
let's open the vault and have a look at last time's
Cool.
episode.
Bad Karis found the witch that's been hiding in the vault. She's been giving me trouble for weeks.
It's right, Karis worked so hard with it, she just spat everywhere. But thank you for taking the attention off of me, making an absolute mess.
Put the old hawk on that door.
Yeah, she.
Give it a hot on that thing.
Great, I can't wait for that to be clipped everywhere. But yes, we are in the vault. So we're looking at last fight episode.
Yeah.
The last fight episode, obviously, being bottom shelf of CEX,
Yeah.
where we had a bunch of games show up. We had Horizon Zero Dawn, we had Far Cry Primal, and we had Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair.
Yeah.
All very short-titled games.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to ask you guys what game you think the public voted as their favourite game and should go into the vault with a lot of other great games. One of the games, before we start, did get a single vote. So there was a bit of a fight for first place, and one game just got one solitary vote.
Is it Far Cry?
And that solitary vote came from one solitary person on this podcast.
Yeah.
Some fat-thumbed individual.
Oh, I wondered where the fuck you were going with that. And I was like, oh, you want a divorce real bad. Okay.
Pressing the wrong button. But Karis, why do you love Far Cry Primal so much?
Why do you think it's the best game of the three?
I don't. And I text you immediately and was like, don't count that. It's a mistake. I want to vote for the other one. And you were like, no.
And then Josh wrote it into the notes for the episode.
I made it very clear. No, I didn't. No notes, but I just remembered that it was very clear that you voted for Far Cry.
By accident. I did not intend
All votes are final.
That's it. You couldn't change it, so Far Cry, well done. You
I'm
got
going to
one
have
vote.
to really make sure I tick the right box when we go vote in the general election.
Yeah.
I think you got a bit more grace than just smacking it with your hand. So if you make a mistake, you can probably fix it.
I'd woken up from a nap. It was like,
It's all
We've all
good.
been there.
But anyway, out of Horizon Zero Dawn and Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, which game do you think people voted for as their favourite game to go in the vault? They both got a fair amount of votes. I will say that. Both of them got a good amount of votes.
I mean, I'm going to say I think it's Horizon Zero Dawn.
As much as I want to make the argument again of like mainstream game versus niche game, I feel like it has to be Horizon.
It is indeed Horizon.
Yeah.
Horizon has been voted as the best game from our bottom shelf of CEX. I think it finished with about 2/3 of the votes. So Yooka-Laylee did put up a good fight for it.
It's a great game.
And a lot of people seem to really like it. So I'm
liked
glad.
it on the stream.
I really did enjoy it on the stream. I'm
fun.
looking forward to going back and really working on it. I just had a lovely time. It is a very frustrating game.
Oh
but
boy.
Horizon Zero Dawn, there are very few faults with that game. It's the way I look at it. There are obviously issues people have with it.
There's more than one Dawn.
There is. Well, there's more than 0 dawns.
Yeah.
There's at least one.
There's a dawn.
There is at least one.
The sun
dawn.
comes up.
But it's over the horizon.
Yeah.
Oh, very confusing. But it's going into our vault. It's going in there with a lot of other great games and some shit games, because some weeks we just buy each other only shit games.
And Blood Bowl.
The Blood Bowl should not be in there, but it was the best. Was it the best?
SSX should be in there.
Yeah, you argue that. I stick with Blood Bowl.
Mutant Football League.
Should be not
Anywhere
even
near it.
Shouldn't have even been bought as a game.
It should have one vote from Karis.
What a terrible.
Get a grip, go away. Fuck off.
Oh yes. Mutant Football League Primal, our favourite game, favourite game. Anyway, let's forget about CX and their terrible quality control and close this door that has now been whacked all over. Yeah. So it can now close nice and easy and move into the genre.
Oh, true. It's been WD-40 now, isn't it? With the hack to
It's good, yeah.
Do you want to close it then?
One little push from me.
I mean, Darren's spit game clearly isn't that great.
I was going to say, it shouldn't be making any noise.
Had a little creak. Still a big
on.
door.
But yeah, anyway, we're now...
That was me.
That was you. That was Darren's arms. It's been a hard old week for Darren. He's an old, aged man now. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Welcome to the club of old people. Should we move into this week's genre?
Yeah.
So, last week on the Random Genre Generator, we pulled out a category, and the category was what, Karis?
Fish!
It was indeed fish. And Darren, what does fish mean?
That's fucking fish, isn't it?
Guys,
You've never sounded more Welsh. It's just fish, innit? You are the only one that's actually fully English.
Yeah.
It's fish, innit?
Yeah.
I had to really lead into that then. But yeah, fish. So is it a verb? Is it a noun? Is it also... Basically, it's quite open-ended, fish. Yeah. It was a lot of choices.
Just not a mammal.
Sorry, I went into full English teacher mode then, and I was like, on what planet are you talking fish as a verb? And then I was like, no, 2 fish.
Yes, yeah.
I was
It's
like,
more than one fish.
I was going to say more than 0 dawn fish. But I'm glad we were going the same way.
We are despicable.
Yes, it is disgusting.
Oh, God, I hate you guys.
But yes, the fish. So we then had to go out and buy each other a fish game for us to fight over to make the best budget fish game. So who got their game first? It was, unsurprisingly, the one that I bought was the first to arrive.
Yeah.
And it came at a speed. I think it was bought the day of or the day after the last recording. Yeah. And it got to Karis.
Yeah.
So Karis, what game did you receive from Josh?
I got a game called ManEater.
Okay.
And...
It makes you work hard.
Yep.
Oh, God, thanks, Nelly Furtado. Jesus.
Don't mention it.
She a fish?
I don't know.
Okay.
She could be.
I don't know how to respond to that.
She could be. I mean,
I'm just making sure we've met the prompt.
Yes.
I don't
So
know.
what is ManEater, Gareth?
Okay, so ManEater is essentially, to cut a long story short, you play as a bull shark, and essentially it's put down as like an action role-playing game. You literally have control over a female bull shark who has to evolve and survive in this like open world of oceans and rivers and bayous. And she basically, what I did, I went into this game completely blind. And I'll leave what happens to my play of the game. I have 2 that I'm really trying to pick between. But you start off as like a bull shark pup, and it's all about you trying to get revenge on a fisherman.
Yes.
So it's good. It's good fun. You have to kind of like eat certain things to evolve. You have to do different tasks. You are given different quests as a bull shark, a very angry one at that. It's great.
It's a play on like the old classic clip art games of you being a little fish eating slightly bigger fish till you get bigger and bigger and bigger. But like more realised as a full game with actual quests and stories is sort of how I look at that. Don't think there's any other way to describe it. Can you think of another one?
It's got a fun narrator.
It does have a fun narrator as well. Yeah. So that was the first game that arrived.
Yeah.
The second game that arrived was the one that went to Darren.
It was.
From Keris.
Yeah.
So Darren, what did you receive from our dear lady of the podcast?
So I received the lovely game Spiritfarer.
which Darren has mentioned, I think, a few times on the
Yeah.
podcast.
I do love this game. It's a lovely, sad time. Basically, you play as Stella, who is sailing into the underworld. We don't know why. We don't know how. But she's probably dead. It's Stella and her cat. I think the cat is called Daffodil.
I think it's...
The cat is a flower that begins with a D.
It's either that or Dandelion.
Correct.
Yep.
It's the two I can never separate what it's called. But basically, you meet the ferryman of the underworld, who basically says, "This is your responsibility now," and leaves. And so that is then the game from there on. You pick up the spirits of
It
dead
is
people.
Daffodil.
It is Daffodil.
Well done.
Cool. It's because I always say Dandelion and it's wrong.
Yep.
So it's like mentally flipped it. But yeah, you go around to a bunch of islands on your little boat and you pick up spirits and you help them do all the things they need to do before they can pass through the Everdor and move on to the other side. It is a resource management game about keeping your spirits happy and doing little quests for them until they're ready to go, and you cry relentlessly as they tell you all the reasons they love you and you're very special, and then you're just fucking sad. And some of them are more sad than others. There is 2 very sad ones. One of them will be mentioned later.
Yep.
But yeah, that is basically the core of it. Is you go around, you collect your spirits, you do things for them, and then they make you sad when they die.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, well, it is it's a really nice sort of 2D watercolor-esque
It's
looking
a
game, isn't it?
beautiful game. And also, you can play the whole thing co-op, and the second player plays as the cat.
Oh, really? That's really nice.
nice.
I had no idea that was
The
the case.
animations of the cat doing the resource gathering are the funniest fucking thing.
I can't wait to have a little look
They're
at
so
that.
good.
That, do trophies pop for both people?
I'm not sure.
Oh, we'll have to have a look at that. But that sounds very
I was
exciting.
desperately trying to remember in the middle of that sentence, but I cannot.
Fair enough. And then I received the last game from Darren.
Yep.
Just keeping up with standard practice.
I got on mine so quickly and then just forgot about it. I put in a couple bids, both of them got outbid, and I'm like, okay.
Okay.
And then a week later, I'm like, fuck, I didn't buy the game.
But it's all right. It did arrive.
It did arrive.
And I was bought Subnautica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Subnautica is a survival action adventure game. It's an open world first person game where you're basically stranded in the middle of an ocean on a planet in the Andromeda Galaxy. Basically, your big ship, the Aurora, I believe it is, has crashed. Everyone else is dead. It is just you on a little escape pod with it on fire. So you put it out and then you go, what else do I need? And you go, I need resources. So you climb up the top and you go off to find resources by swimming around. And then you gather those resources and you synthesize and you make and you build and you get better and you travel further and you do more. And hopefully you escape, because escape's not coming for another 9,999 years.
Correct.
And that's pretty much it. It's a first-person game set in a massive ocean world, surrounded by various creatures, plants, all sorts of things that you will discover have different properties that can help you travel further.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all I can say is that's the game. There are several different modes in there. There is a survival mode, which you have to manage health and thirst. There's also a hardcore mode, which is all of that. Plus, you only have one life. You die, you're over. There's a freedom mode, which you don't have to worry about health, hunger, or water, and you can just go do the game.
Yeah.
And then there's creative mode, which I think basically you can do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And it has its plot that nicely unfolds very, very slowly.
yes, there is a if you look up what the plot is, there's a lot there, and I got to be honest,
It's wild.
I have not got far enough to actually say, oh, this is what the plot is specifically, because I'm not going to say the plot doesn't really matter in the first few hours of the game, but it doesn't. And I don't know if the plot gets any more important as it goes on, or but it's just like a nice little pushing device as you continue on in the story.
It's a bit of both. It's like, you say the main goal is to escape. One of the core materials you need to escape is something you don't get until the very end of the plot.
Makes
So you
sense.
sort of have to follow it to be able to finish the game. But it does become much more involved.
And the plots come through, I assume, the tablets you pick up, the radio transmissions.
It's mainly
and
the
stuff,
radio transmissions.
and you get stuff like that, which give
It's
you
like sort of you go to base, you pick up your radio, it says there's a transmission from here,
and you're like,
and you go
"Ooh,
there."
Go to that location because it gets
Yeah, and they get further and further away and more complex to get to.
So yeah, that's the 3 games we've got. We've got ManEater, Spiritfarer, and Subnautica. 3 quite, I would say, very different games. We've managed to go, I would say, the different aspects of fish.
I said this in our chat. There's a grid really, which is has fish fishing.
Yes, yeah.
And we have is fish, has fishing, has fish.
Yes.
All we needed was a 4th person to buy Bass Pro Fishing, and we completed the square.
Perfect. But yeah, talking of games that we could have bought to complete that square, what other games were you looking at purchasing for this?
I'll be honest, I was really, because I know we all love it, I was really, really thinking about Dredge. Really thinking about Dredge.
It would have been a good pick.
It would have been a really good pick.
Yeah.
But it's just too expensive. It's just too expensive. Although I would implore, if you haven't played it and you're listening to this, I would really, 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 really suggest giving it a go.
It's on PS Plus now.
PS Plus Extra level, I think it is.
Yeah,
So
it's fantastic.
That was the main one I really wanted to get, to be honest. And then when I was kind of looking and saw that Spiritfarer was there, I was like, I kind of pandered. I like, no, you love this game.
So it works. Darren, what are you looking at?
Call of Duty Ghosts for the meme.
Just for the meme?
Fish AI.
Don't blame you.
I also very briefly was like, do I just fucking buy Yakuza 0? Because it's a great game that has a fishing mini game and it's set in Japan. It's the little sushi.
Yes.
That's fish. And I'm like, I could passively argue it, but do you know when you get the gut feeling that you'll need that game later?
Yes, yeah, I get that feeling.
I can't burn Yakuza 0 on fish.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
weird.
going to need that.
It's like Dave the Diver was one. I was like, if there was a physical version and it was any price other than like £3,000 probably, perfect, because you fish, you make sushi, you talk to fish people, like it's just got everything
It's got
there.
all the fish.
Abzu, I thought that's what you'd got me, because I remember playing a game like this and it was Abzu. I got confused. I would say there was, as you said, the bass fishing. I was like, do I just do this? But I thought Keris would hate that. I was looking at stuff like Fishing North Atlantic. I was like, I think Keris would hate that. If I was buying for Darren though, I'd have probably gone for something like Tales of Arise or Sonic Frontiers, which have like fishing elements in there, or even something like Fire Emblem Three Houses. But I think for Keris, I immediately went, hey, you can be a big fish eating other fish in fish. And I was like, it just feels right.
Like, I find, it's like sharks is one of those things, like, like when you're a kid and you find like dinosaurs fascinating, like sharks was like...
When you're proper autistic.
Yeah. My autism marker was sharks. Yeah. Like, I think...
They are basically dinosaurs.
They are.
I just think they're fucking cool.
They are cool.
So when he was like, hey, you get to be a shark in this, I was like, fucking sign me up.
This felt like one of the heavier episodes where you had to walk the accurate, entertaining boundary.
Yes.
Like, I can buy a really fucking fishing game.
Yeah.
But is it going to hit? It's the Cooking Mama all over again. Yeah. Do I buy the most cooking game that's not going to land, or do I buy a game that has cooking that's better?
That's it, yeah. It was a real toss of how's this going to work out. And should we find out how it works out and get into fighting over the best budget fish game?
Hell yeah, fish fight.
Round 1, fight!
Sorry, did you just sneak in hell yeah fish fight?
Yes, that's why I thought the face.
Yeah, fish fight.
So if you haven't been here before, what we do now is we now fight over 4 potential points. They are most accurate, value for money, most entertaining, and play of the game. The first 3 points go to the person who bought the game, whilst the last point goes to the person who played the game. Obviously, we're all arguing the game we played, but we'll all nudge and push and go, oh, mine's better. Yeah. So should we jump into the first category, which is most accurate for fish?
Yeah.
Darren, why don't you go first? We normally have Keris go first. I thought I'd let Darren go first. How is this accurate for fish?
This is accurate for fish. It has a fishing minigame in it that I would say is prominent but not central.
Okay.
It's like one of the main side activities you have going on. Basically, anytime you're on the boat or the boat's going anywhere, you can fish off the back.
Right.
There's a range of fish to catch.
Can the cat fish in 2-player?
The cat can fish in 2-player.
It's cutting out the middleman of Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah. The cat can just fish. But also it's like there's a big cooking mechanic, and a lot of them have like fish dishes, their main favourite one.
Yep.
So it's not just like you catch fish for no purpose as part of its resource collection. So you're going to need fish to give to this person, you're going to need fish to feed this person. And like I think there's collections you can build up.
Yeah.
That is sort of the extent of it. I did look very deeply to see if one of the spirits you collect is a fish, but they are not.
They are not.
There is a frog. That is the
Okay.
closest you get.
Fair enough.
But it is sort of, it's...
Spirit, fair enough.
Oh,
Oh,
get
you.
out, get
Oh,
out,
you.
get out, get out, get out, get out.
But yeah, it's like, because the whole thing's set on the ocean, it is one of the bigger side activities, and you do have to do it.
Yeah.
But there's like, I thought of it as a game that has fishing in, but if you said like one of the big fishing games,
You wouldn't
I'd
have...
be like, I don't know.
But I think fishing is always, there's lots of side activities. I mean, you got your Red Dead where you wouldn't think of fishing, but you go, oh, that's a cool in-depth. How is the fishing like mechanic in it? Is it like a Stardew Valley style one, or is it like a, do you have to keep it at a bar?
It's
or is
quite similar to a Red Dead,
where you like,
in a way.
you're like playing with a line
So
and
it's
stuff?
2D fully. I'm sure there's a game like this, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. But basically, you try to pull the fish in, and the line will go from like white to yellow to orange to red.
Right, yeah.
And like when it goes red, it will then snap, and you'll lose the fish.
Yeah.
So it's you have to like pull, let go, pull, let go, and keep that color in the middle. So you're like actually pulling it in, and sometimes it takes a fucking year. Because they pull back out at the same rate it goes down in colour.
Right,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
have to push your luck a bit on some of the harder catches.
Makes sense.
And it's real tricky to get the hang of. We played it in co-op, and I'm fucking terrible at it. And my partner's just like, yeah, it's fucking easy.
Just knocking it all
And I'm
down.
like, I can't get one. Maybe it's because I was a cat. I didn't have a grasp on the
you're
mechanics
human.
of fishing.
You don't have a thumb to
No.
like, reel it
No.
back in.
Just swatting at the fucking reel.
That's fair. So that was Spiritfarers.
Yeah.
I'll go with Subnautica next. You are stranded in an ocean on a planet. When you go in there are loads of different life. There's lots of life down there. Some of them have got fish in their name. Some of them don't have fish in their name. If you looked at them and someone looked at it, I wouldn't always say you know that it's a fish. Is there anything I would say? Like you look at the front cover of the game and there's like this almost squid-like creature, but it's got like not loads of tentacles. It's like 2 points and a big eye.
Yeah.
A peeper, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And you go, I mean, it is a fish. It's a fish the same way that an unknown is a Pokemon.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
You're like, it's because you're in a...
It's the alien fish.
They're alien fish. And I think they call them like... Because you scan everything and it's like, it's classed as aquatic life and then terrestrial life.
Yeah.
So it is a fish, but it isn't a fish. And there's so many things in there. And obviously, as you go deeper, not that I've gone deep enough to find stuff, but there are these massive fucking creatures down there, which are... I would argue like old gods more than anything else.
The big fucking Leviathan
The
things.
Leviathan
They are
things.
horrible.
Yes. So there's a bunch of... You are surrounded by fish. You can catch them. I was playing on... is it freedom mode?
Where you don't have like food and that.
Yeah.
That's
So-
what I played on as well.
Which I don't know if I'm playing on the one where I have hunger and thirst. They play a bigger part. Like I catch the fish to eat the
You do.
fish.
Yeah.
Because I felt like in this, I was like, oh, I don't really know what to do with these fish. I'm scanning them, but I'm not really doing much with
There's
these.
also a very particular type of fish that you can craft into water. Like they're bladder fish. And you
Right,
craft
yes.
them into drinkable water.
That's cool.
So they play a lot bigger part in that mode because
So-
you have to like feed and drink.
Yeah, I thought that when I was playing, I was like, oh god, maybe I'm missing out a big mechanic of
Yeah.
what this is.
The main benefit they have in like freedom mode is that when you build a base, you can build a fish tank
Oh,
and put them in that.
that's cool. I didn't know you could do
They're very
that.
sweet.
So, I mean, there's so much more to uncover in this game that I've been playing
It's
it.
a really random question, sorry. Subnautica is
Yeah.
something... Interestingly, I was actually looking at this last night because there's a lot... Bear with me, this is relevant, okay? There's a lot of
Strapping in.
stuff on TikTok at the moment about submecophobia.
Okay.
And the thought of things being, like, really big things being, like, in the water and sort of sinking under these. And people keep saying, like, oh, Subnautica is, like, really scary for it. If you have submecophobia, it's, like,
Correct.
really bad. Is it quite creepy?
Fucking horrifying.
So, I mean, we'll talk about it more in the gameplay and stuff of it, which I think we'll go into. But yeah, you start going deep, and if you're like me, I was swimming deep with no fucking torch. It was a bad idea, real bad idea, because suddenly something starts glowing in front of you. And you're like, oh fuck.
There's like weird stuff as you go deeper down.
Yeah.
Like, one of my favourite things is there's an area where there's just big, like, four-legged things that walk on the base of the ocean.
Oh, cool.
And they're completely harmless. They're just there.
Just weird.
But there's a type of enemy called the Leviathan that is
Yes, this is
50
what...
times bigger than any other creature in the game.
Yeah.
And you never see it in time.
Right.
You'll be just swimming along, and that motherfucker will come out of the shadows at you, and you're already dead by the time you've seen it.
See, now I think that the Leviathan even is the one that on TikTok loads of people talk about it, and they're like, can you fucking imagine if something
I
like
don't
this existed?
have this. I don't have this thing about like the ocean. The Leviathans scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I stay away from the areas they're meant to be in because you don't have to go there, and I don't want to fucking go there.
No, and if you go too deep, you find the Meg, so you want to be careful.
Do you actually find an egg?
Not in this game.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah, that's what Subnautica is, and so it does have a lot of fish in there. But I mean, you can argue, is it a fish? Is it not a fish? But it's clearly fish.
Yeah.
Is how I put it.
Clearly fish.
Carius, ManEater, is it fish?
Is a potato a fish?
It is so accurate to fish because you are the fish. You are the fish. You roleplay as the fish.
Eating other fish.
Eating other fish.
Whilst other people try to fish you.
Yeah. Genuinely. Yeah. If you want the boxes ticked, mate, all the boxes are ticked.
This is very buying Darksiders 2 for the death episode where you play as Death in the Definitive Edition causing death.
Genuine.
Yeah.
And there's always a threat of, like, you are literally being hunted by fishermen.
Yeah.
Like...
I knew what I was doing when I bought this. I went, I'm going for most accurate. And that was literally what I was looking for, was most accurate on this. I thought, I don't think I can lose the point by going for ManEater.
It's like Subnautica has a lot of fish, but you yourself are not a fish, which is the benefit that ManEater has.
Yes, that's it. ManEater is fish all the way through, and you're going to be it. So should we give the first point to
I think so.
Man?
Yeah. You can't not.
Woohoo, point to
It's
Josh,
fish, yeah.
because Josh doesn't even need points now. He's just doing it for a fucking lull.
Well,
messy
I'm
if
not
everyone
being
else is
funny,
dead.
but I would literally love it so much more if you weren't so smug about it. Like, you're so smug about it.
Yes, stop giving me points then. Second point of the episode is for value for money. I was going to say most accurate again.
Value for money, yeah.
Yes, so this one is always more maths based. We'll go with ManEater for the first one.
Yeah.
I spent, I was going to say, a gentleman's, but I spent £6.75 on ManEater, which I think is a fair price for the game. The main story is only 8 hours.
Yeah.
Mains and size 10 hours. Completion is 12.5. All stars 11 hours. So you're looking at about 11 hours. £6.75. It's a little over £1 an hour.
Yeah.
£1 every 2 hours you're looking at, which isn't terrible money.
Yeah.
It's just not great money.
Yeah.
No. Should we have a look at the next one? So, which one do we go next? Let's go
Spiritfarer, I think.
Spiritfarer next, shall we?
We always go in order.
How much did you spend on Spiritfarer, Karis?
£5.27.
You
exactly.
did spend
Nice.
£5.27. So that game is 25 hours for the main stories. Mains and size 32.5. Completion is 42, but all stars 35. So you're looking about 35 hours in the game if you're just playing to enjoy it.
Yeah.
For £5.27,
That's pretty good.
a real solid price. Darren, how much did you spend on Subnautica?
$13.63.
Oh, Darren coming in with heavy pricing.
Yeah.
Main story 30 hours, mains inside 43, completion is 53 hours, all stars 42.5. So Subnautica is the longest game, marginally more than Spiritfarer. I mean, you got about another 7 hours of just all styles, but it's cost an extra £7 for it. I could argue that Subnautica potentially has higher replayability because there are the different game modes in there. But I think it has to go
This is
because
the
of
thing.
the price.
Yeah, like I want to make the argument that the other games have like an end.
Yes.
Subnautica, you could just keep playing it as a survival game for the rest of fucking time if you wanted to. But I don't think I can justify that on the difference in price because Spiritfarer technically has that as well.
Yeah.
There is an end to that game, but there is one spirit you get called Buck.
Right.
Who will just infinitely give you quests.
Oh, okay.
So you can just keep playing the game. He will never go to the Everdoor. He will just keep giving you quests, and you can keep playing the
He's
game.
literally passing the buck of going to death. That's his whole thing. Okay.
And it's fun because his like whole persona is he is a D&D player, and he's like the GM. So he's just giving you quests to go on.
Oh my god!
That's fun.
Buck's fun.
That's really cool.
That's cool. I didn't realise that at all. Wow, okay.
There's some really fun bits. So I think we have to give the second point to Karis. The Spiritfarer.
Yes! Fucking finally, thank God.
Karis,
Okay.
Karis is,
Yes!
what's the most shocking here is this is Darren's category, and Darren hasn't won Darren's category.
I have not.
Which just feels
Oh
weird.
my God, I feel alive.
Should we move into entertainment next?
Yeah.
Who hasn't started? Karis.
I was going to say, I'm so happy to start that. I'd be so happy to start this because let me tell you now, right? This game is so fucking fun. It's so stupid. You start off, and this is where it was like, I'd rather not spoil it straight away, but there is not, I wouldn't call it a spoiler, it happens like 15 minutes into the game, if I'm honest. You start off the game as this big fuck off bull shark, and your first quest is to find the beach and kill 10 people.
Yep.
So immediately it's telling you, like, you're swimming up to the beach and it's telling you, like, you can tail whip them, you can eat them, you can grab them and thrash them, and you're like, okay, all right, okay. So I saw a couple of people on the thing, and I thought, oh, fuck it, I'll give it a go. And I'm eating these people, and it's gory, there's like blood and shit, and you're like, okay, this is fun. But none of them are counting towards the counter, so you're like, okay. They will let you free reign kill all these people, but they want you to kill someone in a specific part of the beach, right? So I go to the specific part of the beach, and I swear to God, I'm popping inflatable fucking unicorns on the beach to grab people. I'm going underneath it. I'm grabbing people. I'm dragging them down. I'm thrashing them about. There are people screaming and running. It's so fucking good. It's so fucking good. I had the time of my life. And then it takes you away to a cutscene, which is the most bizarre thing. I laughed out loud. It's a video crew following this fisherman boat. They're shark hunters. One of the main guy is called Scaly Pete. And he is the most, like,
my man.
Louisiana, like, shark hunting hillbilly ever. And he's like, oh, we've, got to find this, like, bull shark that's killing loads of people. She's been on a rampage and I'm dying to get it and stuff. So you're in the middle of killing these people, and all of a sudden then there are these three boats.
How rude are these three boats?
3 boats of hunters that are coming, they're using, like, laser pointers on you, and you've got to attack the ship, and you've got to, like, and basically you think that you've won, and this was going to be my play of the game, it's not now. You think you've won, because you've ruined the boats, you've decimated the hunters, there's blood everywhere, and you're like, I'm the most fucking lethal shark ever, wah! And then Scaly Pete gets you.
Yep.
And it's part of the game, so I was like, what the fuck is this? I won, I should be able to escape. No, he gets you, and he slices you open, only to find that you are pregnant with another bull shark, right? Yep. The bull shark is pretty much fully formed, comes out and bites his fucking hand off. I was like, oh, this is sick. Okay. And then you play as the bull shark trying to get revenge on this fisherman that has literally cut you from the womb. I cannot tell you a more entertaining start to a game that I have ever had, ever. It was literally, I sat there and was like, this is fucking awesome.
I do love Karis's first engagement, the unwinnable boss fight.
Yes, you always have an. Every time you are surprised by the unwinnable boss fight.
I thought I was just going to be this big fuck off bull shark. I was like, I'm ready to go.
I've been surprised by one of them once, which is the Ghost of Tsushima one, where I'm like, I'm going to win.
Yep.
Why not? Okay.
and listen now, I have had, and I will come back to this and play the game because it's so ridiculous. I have had so much fun, and as I said, like, I don't know whether I've mentioned it this episode, a bit more free for time now, but when I received this game, I didn't have a lot of time to play it. I haven't put a lot of hours into it because I've just been working non-stop. Thankfully not the case anymore, and it was exactly what I needed to just do something fucking fun. It was exactly what I needed. It was so entertaining. It was so fun. It's so unserious. It's perfect. It's perfect in terms of entertainment. It's literally like watching, like, just a really stupid film. It's literally like watching a stupid thing that doesn't take itself seriously. You just watch to pass the time, but it's so fun.
I'm making arguments against myself here, but not deliberately. But I'd say this is a great game in intervals. It's not a game you're spending hours and hours and hours.
It does lose steam.
It does lose steam, and as the game goes on, I think it loses some of its steam there, especially when you're trying to complete the, like, go around the swamp and fight, and you're like, where the fuck am I meant to be going? This is so not clear on the map where I'm meant to be going.
I enjoyed it. I platinumed it.
Yeah.
It's fun. I think this is the peak of the game.
But I would say
it's very entertaining, it's very fun. It never stops being fun, but it's sort of like
plateaus or drops, like
drops like 0.5%.
Yeah,
it's got the mildest incline. But you're like, I am having fun, but
it's perfect for the length of time it is as well. Like 11 hours to, like, basically get the platinum.
It's another great game that comes in, does what it needs to, and gets out.
Yeah, it's like your rec fests. It's like you get exactly the amount of fun you need to get out of it, and it doesn't outstay its welcome, which is great.
Yeah.
But I do think it's one of those games you play an hour for, you put it down. You come back for an hour, you put it down. It's your ukuleles from last time.
Yeah.
It's that sort of level of.
And I will actually. I will talk about that when I talk about my play of the game.
That's fine.
Because it's very linked to that. But I just had so much fun.
I mean, I could
fun.
hear the enjoyment in there. Darren, this is one of your favourite games of all time.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's one of Lauren's favourite games
It is
of all
one
time.
of Lauren's favourite games of all time. I do very much like Spiritfarer. It's cozy. It's the most cozy game. You just sail around, you do little quests for people, and like you pick up these spirits, and they all have such rich backstories. And the thing is, like, they are all people that Stella has met throughout her life. Mm-hmm. That's sort of what you start to pick up as you go on, because after you take a certain number of people to the Everdoor, you basically have these things where you see memories of your past.
Okay.
And you meet a giant owl who, spoilers for Spiritfarer, is death.
Oh, okay.
The incarnation of death.
Which
is
is
a big spooky owl.
It's like a classic one, isn't it?
I really, really, this is so wanky to say, I'm so sorry, but I love the symbolism of death as an owl. Yeah. I absolutely love that. I think that's fucking beautiful, and I will stop being wanky now, but that yeah.
You'll stop whack doing all over
that owl.
Spiritfarer.
I can't make a joke. I can't believe I just said that out loud. No.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Back to Spiritfarer.
Back to the nice emotional moment.
Yeah. But it's just like, it's nice. All of the characters are so well rounded. Everyone has like a full, complete story, and then you take them off. Some of them are quite pleasant. You have one of them you meet who is Giovanni.
Right.
And it's Giovanni and Astrid come as a pair, and they're like an old married couple who Stella used to know. And Giovanni's very sort of like big bravado, big happy-go-lucky guy, and he's a lot of fun to have around. And then you have the opposite, which is Alice, who is a little hedgehog who has dementia, and it's the saddest I have ever fucking been in a game. Because you take her to the Everdoor, and she has a moment of lucidity where she realises you're not her daughter, like she thought the whole time, but you are the nurse, and she's about to die, and I'm just in fucking tears at this hedgehog on a game.
Fuck me. I mean, we always talk about how entertaining is like a real. We struggled with the word when we first came up with it, because the idea is, is this a game that you had fun with, or is it enjoyed or felt something, or is it just a great game? It's trying to avoid the word of best game, because that's not what we're trying to argue. It's like, did you have a time with this game? And that's it, a time. Yeah. And funny with Spiritfarer, where it's the end of time, really, for these things. But this is a real emotionally draining and...
It is.
Warming, and
that's the thing.
It's
sad, but at the same time, it's like happy. You're happy for them because you've done this for them. And there's some of them where you're like in fucking floods of tears, and there's some where you're just happy that they get to go and they've done what they want to do. Like Giovanni's a good example of that, where he gives his speech. He's like, "I wish I'd been better, but like it was great to have known you." And you're like,
it's just
nice.
I mean, and that's it. It's just a real different compared to what we've just had with ManEater, which is entertaining. Like, you'd put it on and most people have a good time with this. Spiritfarer is, I'm going in by myself, on my own, or with another person, and we're gonna have an adventure together, and it's gonna be just for us. It's a real intimate game, isn't it?
Like, the gameplay is very good. It's a lot of like resource collection. You do little jobs for people. They'll ask you to get them X item or do X thing for them. The only complaint I have with this game, I never finished it. It is quite easy to unintentionally make the game less fun in the order you do things.
Right.
So I got to a point where all I had left are Bruce and Mickey, who are brothers who are one spirit, and their quests are a bit annoying.
Right.
I had Stanley, who is a little mushroom boy, and his tasks are not too bad but come quite spaced apart. And Elena, who is a dog, and her quests are the worst fucking thing that has ever happened.
Right.
Hers are very like, she is your teacher, and so she's like, go do this very hard thing to prove your worth. And I got rid of everyone else who I was enjoying the company of.
And then you're stuck with these
I'm
people.
stuck with these people. I can't do their quests because I can't get their items easily. Yeah. I feel like I need to progress but can't work out how. And I just got stuck with it. But as you said, like, Lauren loves this game because she did a slightly different order, so had a much more straightforward time.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing with it. It is very reliant on sort of you doing it in a certain way, and you knowing, like, I will need these things later, I need to get these things. And its progression is quite nicely done. Like, there's a bit in a Tools questline, he's like the second to fourth one you get, and something he needs requires an item that you only get in the second area.
Right.
So you're like, right, I have to put him on pause while I do other people to get there to get the item to do
Makes
this.
sense, yeah.
And I just got to a point where everything seemed blocked.
So you sort of almost soft-locked yourself, but not intentionally.
Like, I could have got past it with in-depth Googling and, like, powering through it.
But it feels, like, counterintuitive for how the game feels,
Yeah, and also I was at the point where, like, you form attachments to these characters, and I was stuck with 3 I didn't form much of an attachment to.
Yeah.
I'm like... But it's like, it's phenomenal in terms of how it looks, how it plays, how it hits.
And it, obviously, if you play it in a certain way, it can be like one of the best experiences you can have.
Fucking sad, mind.
Sad, by the sounds of it. Let's move on to Subnautica then.
Yeah.
Not sad. Although you're stranded on your own, you don't feel sad.
No. Have a nice little swim.
You immediately step out the top, and you are... There's everything there. I will say, I have now started this game 3 separate times. Not because I wanted to start the game 3 separate times, but because the saving is not intuitive in this game.
It's not.
So much so that I thought I'd saved it, but I hadn't saved it, and I lost 2 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
I then did it a second time and did exactly the same fucking thing, but only with 40 minutes. I'm now on my third play, and I'm now 2 hours in again.
This is a game that got very grumpily dragged up through, like, alphas and betas, and at one point came over.
Yeah.
But they didn't, like, do the UI first.
No.
It just is as it always has been.
It's really not very intuitive.
No.
But then there's a moment where you start understanding what you're meant to be doing. I mean, like, I spent 2 hours initially, and I'll be honest, in those 2 hours, I had done basically nothing in my first save.
Just had a nice swim.
By the time I got into the third playthrough, 30 minutes in, I'd already got further than I had in those 2 hours. Mainly because it's stuff like you work out you need to find certain items. So you go, I'm going to go look for certain items. Like, you need to get a repair tool to start off with, and you need to get the scanner. Once you've got those two, you're basically good to go in the game.
Yeah.
But there's stuff you need to find, like sulfur. So you, like, go looking for sulfur. But
I knew you'd talk about sulfur.
But fuck me, is sulfur a dickhead place to be? Like, where
Correct.
are you going? So you go off, you're going into these caves, you're running out of oxygen, you're swimming back up to the top to swim back down again, and you're looking for sulfur, and you're breaking rocks. Like, here, oh great, I found some fucking copper. Oh, I found some lead. I found this. I found that. Where the fuck is sulfur? Up, down, going into this area. Fish attacking me. Some fish starts flying at me and explodes, and I lose half my health.
Correct.
I then go back down. Then another fish flies at me and explodes. I'm dead. Fuck me. Go back in. Turns out these fucking exploding fish come out of a plant that is called a sulfur plant.
Has sulfur in it.
But you don't know it's a sulfur plant because you don't have a scanner at this point. Because you need the sulfur to make the fucking scanner to find out it's a sulfur plant. So you go back to the plant that's already had the fish explode, and you get sulfur.
I learned this the first time because I swam right next to one and it exploded in its flower. I turned to go, what the fuck was that? And I went, pick up sulfur. And I went, oh, sick.
2 hours I didn't find it, and I refused to Google because I was like, if this game is going to make it too difficult for me to get past this, it's not a good game.
Yeah.
Then I worked out where it was, and I built stuff, and I've gone further. I've got my knife, I've got my torch, I've got my boat, I've gone to my island. I'm starting to make it, and I can now...
You found the surface.
So I can now feel like, oh, good, I understand why this game people like. It is spooky. There is constant fear that I'm going to drown.
Yeah.
Because you start off and you've got like an oxygen tank, which is like 25, which literally is about 25 seconds of air. Which is not much to go through.
Not much.
I've now got an oxygen tank that's about 100 seconds, which is enough time to go down, go back
That's
up.
about the right sort of early game level.
Especially when I've now got my fucking submersive thing. I can go right down to the bottom, and when I'm searching at night, I can get spooked in places, and I can get lost in caves because I haven't bothered building the item that will show you how to get back out of caves because I'm not a fucking wimp.
Yeah.
I will go in there, I will drown in my cave like a man.
Yep. Been there.
But I get it now. It is that sort of build items, go further, explore, build. It's a real game style that I struggle with. Like Stranded Deep, I did not get on with. There's a few other games like this that in the past where I've just not gelled with.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting this game now. I understand the fear, and there are moments I've gone, oh, that's cool, that's great. It's just almost unwilling to be nice to me,
Yeah.
so I can't learn
This
what I'm
game
meant to
fucking
do.
hates you.
It really does. And I was like, what have I got to do? Like, I found boxes which obviously had the blueprints in them,
Yeah.
but they won't let you open them until you've got that, and they won't give you a way to mark these items to come back to them. They're like, tough shit, you've forgotten where that is. I'm like,
Yeah.
of course I've forgotten where it is. I'm swimming blindly in an ocean that goes on forever. And like, I went to swim to the big ship.
Yep.
Who knew that was going to be highly radioactive and I died?
Correct.
Like, it's just, the whole way through this game, it's been hurting me. And now on my third playthrough, I feel better. I'm glad I'm not worried about food and water resource management, because I feel like that would have made the game absolutely unbearable and actually a chore to play. But now I think it's fun. I'm getting it. Is it a game that I'm raring to go back to? I am looking forward to going back to playing this, because I now understand what I'm doing. But I'm not going, hey guys, let's all get on some Subnautica. It's a game that takes its time for you to get it, and I think it's a game that people will just sink into, and you will lose hours because you start going, oh, I just need this one item. Oh, I just need this one item. It's one of those games where it's like, just one more bit, and then you're under as far down as you can possibly go, being attacked by giant fish that you weren't expecting to be attacked.
Yeah.
With a little knife that does nothing.
It does nothing.
It does nothing.
Yeah.
You stab them.
It's like cutting
I wish you
seaweed
guys
and
could
noodles.
see the actions that he's doing where he says nothing. He's so passionate.
Do little stabs.
Yeah, I need a weapon, but I don't know if I can even get a weapon.
No.
The repair tool does not work as a weapon, I'll tell you that much. It does nothing. No. The repair tool is worthless. Once you build it once and fix those 2 items, it feels like I've done nothing with it.
Oh, you'll need it.
Yeah, I'm sure I will, but right now I'm just swimming around with a repair tool doing nothing.
Yeah.
But yes, that's Subnautica.
The reason I brought this game to the table is because this is a beloved game in my household.
Yeah.
We said Spiritfarer is one of Lauren's favourite games. Subnautica is her favourite game.
Right, okay.
She will, in the same way that Keras plays Resi 7, play Subnautica.
Right.
Yeah.
She will start a new save of Subnautica and just play fucking Subnautica again.
Yeah. I want to do that with Resi 7 again.
It is a game that grows.
Yeah.
The problem with Subnautica, and I have the same problem, is in the early game, you are at the mercy of the game.
It just feels like RNG. But I don't even know if is it RNG'd or is they
It's slightly RNG'd.
because it feels like on each of these 3 starts, I've had the same cave systems near me. I know where. That's why on the third one I was like, cool. I know where the acid plants is. I know where this is.
The main landmarks are the same,
Right.
but things like the blueprints are different.
Right. Okay.
So I had the same problem that you are having, where you need specific blueprints and you can't fucking find them because they're in boxes you can't open.
yes.
Sometimes you are just at the whim of the game.
Yeah.
It does improve as you go on.
It feels like a game that's going to grow, and the more I play it, the more I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
But a game, it feels weird for a game's enjoyment level to be that way. Like, I think a game should be more like the ManEater version, where you
Start
come
strong.
in, you're like, fuck me, let's play more of this, rather than, hey, do you like this? Slap me in the face. I'm like, get back down there.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, sir, yes, sir.
This does feel a bit like it's been bolted on. This does
Yeah.
feel like a game that's grown out of being a pure survival game. But it just sort of, it's a game where, I don't quite know how to describe it. The wonder of it emerges as you play.
It has a lot more to it, I think, than something like Stranded Deep. I think this is far more enjoyable. I like the setting more. I like that sort of style of it more. But would I rather be doing something like, I know it's not the same, but something like a Don't Starve, where I'm trying to survive and I'm building things to make my... I feel like a game like that is a bit... Although it's horribly harsh, it's a bit kinder and making you understand what you're doing. Whilst this is very much learn, and you're like, okay, I guess I'll learn, you know?
Yeah, I love it. I just
that's
think
fair.
the way it grows is very impressive. It has a similar sort of vibe to how I described Pacific Drive before.
Yeah.
It is a game about improving to be able to go further.
Yes.
So, like, you have your little sea glide thing.
Yeah.
You will soon get a little small submarine, which lets you go to a certain depth, and you find these big neon mushroom caves.
It's looking like...
And then you get a big fucking, like, Cyclops, it's called. It's a massive submarine that you take, like, into the depths of the earth.
Don't get me wrong, I completely get the element of... and I'll talk about it now. When I got my fucking submersive, I felt so fucking smug. I was like,
Yeah.
ha ha ha! And I literally... I had so much I was meant to still be doing, but I went, let's see how far this bad boy
deep it
can
can
go.
go. Yeah.
Just open this up. And I was going forwards, and I was like, do, and then something started glowing. So I decided to do it at night, because why not? And then something started glowing. I was like, what the fuck is this thing? And it was actually not too far deep, but it was like one of those reef things that are huge. It's like, oh god. And I started like trying to back away, and they didn't attack me because they're nice, but it's like, it's the moment of wonder, like, haha, look how fucking cool I am. Oh shit, I am just a tiny fish on this planet.
There's nothing that quite captures the feeling Subnautica gives you,
Yeah.
in that it has a sequel, and that does not capture the feeling Subnautica gives you.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense, because it's what is below... Is it
Below Zero.
That's
it's
what it is.
a lot more
Zero Dawn,
land-based.
yes.
Zero Dawn.
Yes.
Below Zero Dawn.
So, most entertaining. Where are we thinking of going? Darren, you've actually played all 3 games.
I have played all 3 games.
I have also played all 3 games, but I'm just curious where you would land for most entertaining on these.
I'm going to use the measure we've used before, which is if you put all 3 games in front of me
Which
and
you
say
want to play.
you have to play one of these, I honestly am playing Subnautica.
That's fair.
I loved ManEater. I also remember ManEater becoming a bit stale.
It's only if you put them in front of me, I'm going for Spiritfarer.
Fair.
Because I don't think I gave it enough time, and I loved my entire time with it. I just thought everything about it was like this beautiful moment in there.
Yeah.
Karis, you've only played ManEater.
And do you know what? Do you know what? I think even if I played your games, I'm so sorry, guys, but you did not have the experience I had in the opening of this game.
I mean, I
And
did.
You,
I played
but
it.
you played it.
Yeah.
I did. I did have
Fuck me then.
experience. I remember how great the game is. I remember how great it is. I just remember it.
Subnautica, is it?
Why
Or-
am I angry?
I don't know.
know.
It's not
Why are
your
you?
game.
You guys, yeah, Spiritfarer is great. You really enjoyed your entire
Of
time,
interest.
yeah.
Number 2 on yours then is it
Spiritfarer.
Spiritfarer, and mine probably would be Subnautica now. I think ManEater is bottom on my thing now, but it's just because I've got to that point. But also ManEater I had a really good time with. I'm torn between the 2 of them, which in my head makes it feel like the Spiritfarer is
Yeah,
probably the
I
game
think that's fair. Yeah.
I would go for in this thing, which gives another point to Karis,
Karis.
which means
She has a
Karis
point.
has a point for this episode.
Bravo.
The only way that it could change is if I also get a point here, then I'm definitely free, and then it's you
Yeah.
two fighting it out. So we'll move on to play of the game.
Play the game.
Who wants to go first on play of the game? Karis, you've been itching to talk about your play of the
I
game,
have.
so fucking
Right,
go for your
it's
play of
not,
the
I'll
game.
be honest, it's not the best play of the game, but I just, this is a play of the game for me that when you were talking about how it loses steam, it lost steam with me because I got so frustrated
Yes.
that I literally was like, oh, I'm not fucking playing this anymore. So there's a bit, you're having a lovely time. You have quests to like eat groupers, eat turtles, you know, you evolve a little bit, you go into your little like grove in the bayou and you get a little sick little tiger skin and
Hell
you know,
yeah.
you're having a great time.
Yeah.
You're having a great time. And then all of a sudden they're like, this is a nice quest. All you've got to do is go and eat 10 catfish, right?
I remember this fucking quest.
Easy. Eat 10 catfish, my dudes. I will eat
My blood
those
pressure is
motherfuckers.
rising.
Yes.
No problem. So I'm swimming along. I'm like having a great time, and I'm starting to eat these catfish, and the music changes, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Something attacks me. I can't even see what it is, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is attacking me? An alligator.
This fucking
An
asshole.
Alligator. There's 2 of the fuckers, right? And I swear to God, they're like, oh, you can attack them when they glow. They're vulnerable. They don't glow. They don't glow. So I was like, I died twice because I was like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? They're not glowing. I'm waiting for them to glow. These fuckers are eating me. So I was like, right, new plan of action. Forget about the catfish. Go in there, kill the alligators, get the catfish,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Same
brilliant.
thought
Okay.
process I
Easy,
had.
yeah.
Yep.
I go in, I think I've got to have some tactics about this, right? So it bites me, and I don't know if you guys remember this, right? But when it bites you, like half your health is gone. Like
Yep.
it's just they just take chunks out of you,
You're a
right?
weak little shark.
So yeah,
In a sick tiger
so
skin.
I
Yeah.
was like, okay, what I'll do is, I'll let it take a chunk out of me. Go away. Eat a fish, come back, bite it. You know, I was working on tactic. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because when the alligators decide you're fucked, right? So I was like, third time now, what I'll do, I'll go in, I'll just start biting it. I'll just bite the shit out of this thing. I'm thrashing it, I'm biting it, I'm taking some health off. It bites me twice and I'm fucking dead, right? I spent ages trying to kill these alligators and you cannot fucking kill them. You cannot kill them. It is impossible. I nearly threw my fucking thing out the window. Fuck the alligators.
It's funny. You're just in the start of the game. You're just eating like little things. You're having a good time. Like, I wonder if this is about the alligator.
Yeah.
You're like, there's a quest to get 10 catfish. I'm like, cool, it's about the alligator.
Yeah.
I remember that
I
fucking
remember
alligator.
how frustrating it was, and it really is frustrating, the alligator. And I can't remember when I stopped playing the game, but I feel like it wasn't long after the alligator.
I'll be
because
honest.
it's very
I planned it.
Yeah, I know you
At
did.
that point, it was so much fun, and to be honest, even when you get eaten by the alligator, it is fun. But it's like it gets to a point where it's like, if I can't kill the alligator, how am I supposed to do my job? Like,
Level up.
Level up is good.
Go back.
yeah.
Get
Well,
good.
I tried. Okay.
Just be fucking better.
I'll go for mine next.
Go for it.
Yeah, so I was talking about how obviously I got frustrated with stuff. There was a point where in my second play, it was night. I went, I'll just swim down, just see what there is. Absolutely fine. Pitch black, can't see a fucking thing. Then something orange started glowing. It exploded. I caught fire and died immediately. I was like, underwater. I don't know what happened here. That's fine. That's it. But my play of the game, although I enjoyed finding the reef creatures because it was just like this moment of like, oh my god, this thing's massive.
It's a massive fucking floating.
Where I was like, oh my god, is this an island? No, it's just a thing. And then I turned to the side and there were like 5, 6. I was like, oh my god,
cool,
this is so cool. It's like a school of them, like whales. My play of the game is I got to my island and I was like, oh man, this is great. I haven't built a torch, so I'm using my fucking sea thing, which works as a torch.
Yeah.
It's nighttime, and there's like a little spidery thing fucking about annoying me. I stab it, it runs away, and I go find the essentially what is someone else's old like research station, which they've set as an outpost. And I'm in there, like looking around, picking up all stuff. I feel really good about myself. I'm like, oh, this is really good. And I haven't noticed that my health's quite low, and I've worked really hard to get here. And then all of a sudden, 3 spiders ran into the room. And I was dead immediately. Like, oh my god, hubris. Hubris. How you like, I felt so good on my summit. I was like, I am unstoppable. And I was like, no, you can't even tackle the land.
That island's fucking meat.
I was like, this is so unfair. So unnecessary. And all I had was my little knife, like, no, get away.
Because the plot will take you there. When I first played it, I did what you did, where you find it randomly. You're like, oh, cool, an island. Oh, no.
It was just like, I look at all this. This is mine. It's upgraded fins. No one can touch me. No, these little spiders can touch me. And they fucked me up.
Yeah.
It was just a moment of absolute hubris. Although I do really like just coming out the pod for the first time. It's just that big sort of span of everywhere that you are.
Yeah.
But, yes, Spiritfarer, play of the game. I know you've already got yours locked in.
Okay, I do. So the general structure of Spiritfarer is you go to an island, you pick up a spirit, you do some quests for them, you take them to the Ever Door, they say a very sad speech, you send them through the Ever Door, and then where their house was on your boat leaves what's called a spirit flower.
Okay.
And you basically use these to make upgrades. So, like, you use the first 2 spirit flowers I think you get to build a ice, like, breaker on the front of your ship, so you then get through an ice wall to get to new items. I would like to talk about the story of Atul the Frog.
Okay.
Atul is Stella's uncle, and like the first 2 are like this. So I think Summer is her aunt's partner.
Right.
Atul is your uncle. Gwen, who's the very first one, is like her best friend.
Okay.
But Atul comes to
I'm so excited to go back to playing Spiritfarer.
Atul comes to your boat, and he is the happiest, jolliest man alive. I fucking love Atul. He introduces you to a lot of game mechanics. So he's the one who introduces like upgrading people's houses, and he, I think, introduces you to a lot of the early cooking stuff in the game. Gwen does a little bit, but he introduces you to the idea of like you can combine ingredients to make different meals. Like his favorite food, everyone has a favorite food, and you can decide like what it is. His favorite food is fried chicken, which is chicken and oil is a item you can't get until you break the ice to get through.
Okay.
So you have to send off a couple people first. But he's generally my absolute favourite. He gives great hugs. He's lovely. And Atul's quests are mainly just about like improving the quality of the boat. He wants to help you get various resources. And there's a quest he gives you, which is he wants to throw a feast for everyone.
Right.
And whoever you have on the boat at that time is invited to the feast. And 3 random people on your boat will give you their favourite food that you have to make for them. That makes it sometimes a bit harder than it needs to be.
Yep.
Because there are items that are hard to get. But I think I had quite easy ones.
Which is nice.
Things that were like in the immediate vicinity. And the only thing I needed that was difficult was oil for Atul.
Just fried chicken.
Which was just sort of go through the ice.
Yeah.
And you have the feast, and everyone's happy, and everyone's having the best time. And then the night ends. And then you wake up the next morning, and on his house is the spirit flower. And he's just gone.
So you haven't even taken him to...
No.
Oh my
And
god.
you find out when you do the Stellar segment later, that reflects what happens in real life. So he was their uncle, and one day he just vanished.
Oh.
He just disappeared, and they never saw him again.
And it's just that nice...
You, at this point, have got into the mechanic of like, okay, I do the quest for them, and I take them to the door, and they give me a nice speech about like how happy they are to be going, how nice it was to know me, and then they go through the door and they're happy and they're at peace. And he's just gone. And the flower is just there, and that is the last you ever hear of him.
Oh,
There's no finish to that. There's no resolution. Just like he was in life, he's just gone, and you just have to take his flower.
You don't even get... Yeah, she doesn't even get that moment.
She
to sort
doesn't
of
get
say,
the goodbye,
yeah.
like the second goodbye that she never got the first
This
time,
one,
because
yeah.
the same thing happens again.
Oh my
He just
god.
disappears. There's a lot of discourse because people don't know what actually happened to him. I have my theory.
Go on, what's your
Everyone has
theory?
their theories. My theory is that he killed himself.
Right.
So he went off, like, he left his family behind. And I think that's reflected in, like, there's the common trope that people get a lot happier before they do it because they've decided they're going to do that. And the
Yeah.
last thing he does is throw the big feast for everyone.
Yeah,
And make sure
it's like
everyone's
his
happy.
good, is actually goodbye.
That is his
yeah.
goodbye. And then he disappears and you just have the flower. But it's just such a gut punch.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he is the most lovely character and you have this big feast and everyone's happy and everyone's jolly. And you're like, I'm going to be taking him soon. This is how it goes. Like, they have their big quest and then they go, I'm ready to go to the door. And you go, okay, time to cry.
Yeah.
And then you just wake up and it's like,
you
there's
feel-
his flower.
And you feel almost empty because it's just, yeah, it's almost like you've been cheated that
Yeah,
moment.
he's the one I most wanted to say goodbye to. And he's just gone.
That's it.
And you're like, that's fucking brutal.
That's great. That is brilliant.
That's heart wrenching. Jesus.
Rough. It's
so
quite heart-wrenching as the hedgehog who has dementia.
yeah.
That's pretty mean.
I'm just gonna say well done for winning player of the game.
Yeah.
Darren.
Yeah. Jesus.
It hurts. I want to play it again and I'm
yeah.
not ready for it all.
Yeah.
We're all a bit sad now.
We're a little
Yeah.
sad now. With that, Paris, are you that sad though because you've just won the episode?
Yes, I did.
For you.
Ah, yeah. Fuck you,
Which is
Josh.
going to which is still leaving me in the lead by 1 point.
Yeah, by 1 point, but
There's only one episode left to go. And you and Darren are on the same level. So there is still all to play for in the last episode, because if you guys do tie, then theoretically we're all on the same score and we'll have to work out a scoring thing for it again.
Yep.
Hopefully that won't have to be the case. Hopefully we can have a very clear winner and a clear loser. But, well, we probably won't have a clear winner. We'll have a clear loser, though. That's
Yeah.
what we're hoping for. So before we do into anything else, like moving into the next episode, should we ever see what we're going to be playing in the next episode with our prompt? Darren, where are we going to?
The random genre generator for our finale.
yeah.
Finale, what's it going to be?
So this is a broad one.
Good.
We're back to like a genre, a topic.
Nice.
What I think is funny about this is the immediate thing you will think of is already gone. It
Okay.
has already been taken because our topic for our finale is roguelike.
Oh. What was the immediate one?
Hades is gone.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the one I was immediately thinking of,
That's what I thought of when
but
I saw
I'm trying
it.
to think of one that will work for, like, which you can actually purchase a physical version of.
Yeah,
That isn't going to
that's
be
the
difficult.
difficulty.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Gareth, you haven't played many roguelikes either, have you?
No,
We'll
not
have to
really.
introduce you to the field.
So
Yeah.
it'd be very interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
this is going to be an easy one to search for, an easy
Yeah.
one to find for, but it's now finding the best one that that person's going to like. And it's all to pay for, so it really have to be a bit of research to make sure we're all happy with
Yeah.
it. So, thank you to everyone for coming along for another episode of Discount. If you do want to find out more, check us out on our socials at disccountpod on Instagram. You can check us out on our own individual ones at Discount Darren, Discount Keris, and Discount Josh. If you do want more content from us, though, we do stream all of these episode games that we've discussed. So we'll all be streaming Spiritfarer, we'll be streaming ManEater, we're going to be streaming Subnautica.
I'm very excited.
I actually think these are going to be all really fun
Yeah.
streams.
I'm excited to do Spiritfarer. I've literally
is gonna
never
cry
done
a lot.
it. I'm gonna cry on camera.
Keris going to have 2 hours of crying about that.
Yeah.
We'll have 2 hours of eating things.
gonna
Darren's
swim.
gonna having a lovely time swimming about. And then we also stream our legacy games. So I'm currently doing Elden Ring. Darren is doing Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm trying to work out where we would be at this point.
Yeah.
And I reckon Keris will probably be She might even be on Resident Evil 4 at this point.
Oh,
Maybe,
Lord.
because Resi 3 is not that long.
Resi 3 might only be 1 or 2 streams, but yeah. And if you want to see all of those streams, they're on YouTube at disccountpod as well, and we got everything put there, and a longer version of this episode if you've been listening to this with just your standard podcast player.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But yeah, thank you everyone for coming along. Anything else we want to say before we...
Rip a tool. My man.
Yes.
Oh, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
I thought you were talking of Rippo Tool. I thought you were talking about like dodgeball. Patio Tool.
A Tool the Frog.
Oh, Tool
Rip.
the Frog. Anything from you, Karis?
I'm just really fucking happy I won.
Yeah, and let's and get done with this thing. We'll catch you all later. Thanks, guys.